This is a video to show you how to begin songwriting using the patented Humberstone 4-finger technique. Copyright, all rights reserved. You can watch this video again that I'm making at any point in case you can't remember what to do. So I've opened two things, GarageBand and also a text file, just a blank empty text file. What I'm going to do is in GarageBand I'm just going to choose a new project and double click on the piano template, give it a sensible name. I always say put your own name into it. There's mine. So that I can remember who your work's by when you hand it in. Don't worry about the key or the tempo because you can always change those within GarageBand later on. Unless you know now that you want to write some hippity hop, in which case it should be down at about 70 to 80 beats per minute, or some drum and bass or extremely fast hardcore techno, in which case probably around 150 to 180 beats per minute. Anyway, back to this. What we're going to start off with, the Humberstone four-finger technique is all about just creating some chords, any old chords, and getting going, kind of like brainstorming with music. So what we do is, we make sure that we've got this, remember the on-screen keyboard. If you don't already have it open, you can go to Window, and you can go to Musical Typing, and that opens it, and that gives you an on-screen keyboard, which sounds beautiful. I haven't got any sound on yet, but there we go. Yes, that sounds lovely. Obviously, you might not want to have a grand piano sound in your song unless you really think you are a bit of an Elton John or a Billy Joel. You might like to have some guitar or something like that, in which case you can come over here and you can choose, one of these lovely guitar sounds. You probably won't have quite as many as me because I have got all of the GarageBand sounds. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, okay? Alright, so what we're going to do for the Humberstone four-fingered technique is that you take, guess how many fingers? 4, okay? And you put them like this, like you're saying victory or peace twice, right? Just the second and the third finger, and then you simply place these down on the keyboard on any of the notes that will make music, alright? It's quite complicated, I know, so watch closely. And you just do this, sort of. Ooh, I only got 3 that time, that's interesting. Oh, that sounds cool. Okay, when you find a combination that you like, you need to write them down. Now, if you know the notes, so for instance, the name of these notes are D, F, G, and B, then you can write those down. But if you can never remember the name of the notes, you can simply write down the GarageBand names, the names of the keys you're pressing, which is S, F, G, and J. So if I remember S, F, G, J, then I go into my text document and go S, F, G, J, and do the next one. Now the trick with this is not to get too precious. Don't expect to get all the chords that you need the first time. I always recommend doing about 10, so I'm just going to try a different combination or two. Ooh, that one's cool. Okay, that one's S, F, H, and K. So again, go back here, S, F, H, K, so on and so forth. So I can carry on doing this. Oh, that one's quite cool as well. D, G, H, and L. D, G, H, and L. Whoops. When you finish doing that, and let's say you've got about 10 different chords, you then design your chord pattern. All popular songs are written over chord patterns in any style, whether it's hippity hop, techno, electronica, rock, pop, R&B. They're all written over chord patterns. So I can say I want to have my 3 chord, then my 3 chord again, then my 2 chord, then my 1 chord. If you're going to write most music, we'll have one pattern for the verse and another pattern for the chorus. Let's imagine that I had done 10 chords. I will say chorus, and I'll go 2, 7, 9, 1, or something like that. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the GarageBand skills that you guys already know about. You've already got these skills because we've done lots of GarageBand even since year 7, just to simply record those chords in any order. Now, I've just been writing 4 chords in my chord progression, but a chord progression could just have 2. 1 won't work, too boring, but 2 interesting chords work fine. 3 are also okay, 4 is great. More than 4, you're pretty much a genius songwriter. So don't worry about writing more than 4 unless you really want to. So what I then do is I simply hit the record button, and remembering what my 2 chords are, I just go and play them. I can't remember what I had, but I'll just do any old thing, okay? So here we go. And of course, you don't have to do it like that where I was playing all the notes together. You could arpeggiate them, which means playing one note in the chord after another, like this. Okay. Now you guys will also remember about how you can fix the timing if you double click, and then you go into here and say quantize note timing and say something like an 1/8 note, that it fixes everything right onto the beat. Okay, and last but not least, right, that's all I want you to do today. 10 chords, find a good order for the chords. That's all we're aiming to do in the full 50 minutes, 55 minutes we have today. But the only other thing that can just make you feel a bit better about your results by the end of the class is to use a pre-made drum loop, just to play along with. So what I'm going to do that, I'm just going to go down here to my loops button. I'm going to find my drums, and then any of these all sound pretty good. Let's go and find something like, I want something a bit rocky, I think. And remember that you've got looping, yeah? So we could simply go, I could take this one and I could loop that out once, then I could take this one and I could loop this out a lot, and all of a sudden I've just been sitting here for only a few minutes in front of you, but I've actually got a full start to my song.
How long does the song
Okay, so that's just a 2-chord song. You can see what success you can have in a very short time if you just stick to those simple rules. So number 1, 10 chords each using the 4-finger method, 10 chords, and then start putting them in some kind of order. That's all you're required to do today. We'll talk about more later, and I'll stop the recording. Not that button.